Do you know, it's ridiculously comfortable. It's a bit like when you look at a sofa that might not be exactly the one you want to look at, but when you sit on it, it works so well, you've got to have it. This is a really usable thing. Funnily enough, in handling terms, Yamaha reckon you can cant this thing over to angles within a degree of those you'll get on an R1. You do get the odd strange look as you go through town, and I was disappointed to find that bikers no longer give you a friendly wave. You can see their eyebrows raising through their visor. Once you leave town and hit the national speed limit, you can open it up and it does romp along quite happily. This is as long distance, I'd say, as pretty much any bike. Maybe it does feel a bit light and wibbly when you start venturing a little beyond motorway speeds, but stay legal and it feels perfectly stable. This little screen might not be the most substantial of things, but it does a reasonable job of keeping some of the air and rain off your head. When the surface gets very rippled, it starts to feel perhaps a little bit scooterish. It jumps and hops over smaller bumps. It doesn't soak up the bumps as well as a bigger bike would. But it ain't bad. Not for a scooter, it's not. All in all, it's a wonderful package for lengthier commutes, even for touring. Fantastic, but there's one great big fly in this particular ointment, and that's the price. At £5,800, it's about £1,000 too expensive. Who's it going to appeal to? Not car drivers, not when they realise they can buy a car for the same money. And bikers, well, they're going to rather have a bike, aren't they? That leaves the T-Max rather out in the cold, but for those few for whom it does fit, it will be superb, no doubt about it. Time now for our regular look at biking fashion, and this week we've got kind of a touring theme running through the programme.
So we're going to take a look at touring kits, starting with the most expensive and finishing with the least expensive.
Do you want to get changed first?
Yeah, can do.
You can have the changing room.
Thank you. I don't need your help, thanks.
Well, I'll just get changed in, no problem. Don't you worry.
Hello.
All changed and ready. Right, touring clothing. Once again, you're more expensive. Starting us off with, what have you got?
I've got a Clover Interstate jacket on. Now this is £220.
Right.
Which I don't think it's too bad.
It's not bad. You can pay more for a waterproof jacket.
Yeah.
Actually. But that's going to be
But
pretty
it's pretty high
waterproof.
up in the range,
Yeah,
this.
okay.
Some...
Trousers.
Oh, yes. Some Risha Millennium trousers.
Right.
Now they're £150.
Yeah. They're kind of leather and non-leathery stuff.
Yes, like a nylon. Yes, yeah, they're very comfy, actually.
And again, they should be pretty waterproof, and they're body armoured, as is your jacket.
Definitely.
So you'll be ready for that nice 3-week trip on the continent in the rain.
Wait.
Boots.
Sportex VR900.
Do you mind?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Reveal a bit of boot there.
Yes.
Carbon fibre.
Absolutely.
It's just on everything, isn't it?
Very, very comfortable, these.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they've got to be. Isn't it funny, the difference? Sports boots, whatever boots.
Absolutely.
If you get to touring boots, they're lovely.
Yeah. Now, these are 140.
Oh, so they're not cheap at all. But again, should be pretty waterproof and pretty safe.
Yeah.
And your gloves?
My gloves are Risha Carbon Winter.
Yes. And
they're £35. So, I mean, they're not expensive at all.
I think you're kind of towards the top of the range, but not massively for that. OK, we'll do mine. I don't
Yeah.
mind a bit of modelling now. Right, now, I've got something a bit special here. If you are planning that long trip to the continent and the weather's not going to be friendly, this is £205. It's by Spada. But not only is it waterproof, probably as waterproof as yours, I've got a heater in here.
Do you need one?
Not right now, but on the continent I would. Plug that into a little, plugs to your bike, onto your seat. You've got a little thermostat there. You can set your temperature, so you could have your heated gloves and your heated jacket.
That's fantastic.
Very nice. 205.
And that's how much?
205.
205.
Not bad, not bad. Now, my trousers, let me remind myself of these. They are Clover, and they're called Cruiser, with a kind of cruiser style. They're supposed to be quite modern because they're supposed to be...
They're a little bit combative.
I think they're just baggy.
Action man.
But there's no leather on these, but they're very waterproof. And again, it's all, this is category B CE armour in this, so it's pretty heavily armoured. Now that's not my knees, that is actually armour in there, so they should be pretty safe. They cost $139.95 with Clovers. My boots, they're by GSB. Ta-da! See, again, very waterproof, 90 quid. Perhaps not the most stylish of articles, but we're going touring here, so practicality is important, do you think?
Yeah.
I think yours look a bit better,
plain,
with that combaty feel.
Oh.
My gloves, finally, Sidi Caldos. They're going to cost you, they're not bad actually, they're 30 quid. They look like they cost quite a lot more, quite nicely armoured, and again, very nice and waterproof. Coming up shortly in the programme, we're going to find out how to turn your bike into a tourer as well as yourself.
And we're going to be looking at long-distance scooters.
See you then. It really is built on that kind of scale. I mean, I can just imagine when you turn up to collect one of these. I don't know whether you'd get a dealer handover, or maybe a member of the royal family offering to smash a bottle against it and launch it. Somewhere down there in the engine room, there's a 1200cc straight 4. It's smooth, there's plenty of power, and it's not a bad compromise between low-down torque, making it nice and lazy, and plenty of go higher up in the rev range. The ride is superb. With so much weight, the suspension can be set up to soak the bumps away, but it still feels competent and in control of its bulk. That said, there's not a huge amount of feedback from the wheels, but I suppose this is the equivalent of an executive motorcycle. This is what you get when a bike pulls a nappy up its bum crack, squats on a stage full of sawdust, and gets ready to rumble, sumo style. Mind you, it could have been built to accommodate sumo wrestlers from the size of the rear seat, which looks rather as though somebody's upholstered a space hopper. Very comfy, thank you. Up at the pointy end, well, there's more than enough switchgear to fly a helicopter. On the right-hand bar, as well as the usual gubbins, we can control our heated grips, nice and warm, and even fiddle with our bike computer. On the left, as well as the usual stuff, we've got our hazards. We can adjust the volume and change channel on our radio. We can change the height of the screen so it sends the wind just over our bonds. Oh, and we can fiddle with our cruise control as well. We've also got the controls for our stereo set on the tank. In fact, there's more than enough to keep you busy on even the longest of trips. When it comes to low-speed manoeuvring, good news, there is a reverse gear. Don't laugh, park this thing nose down on a hill and you'll be needing it. It runs off the starter motor and it's a very strange sensation. It's not entirely perfect though. The big old barn door of a fairing means that if you start to explore the seriously illegal end of its performance, a gust of wind at the wrong moment can put you into a bit of a wobble. Frightening, but not actually dangerous. Of course, it's comfortable. Set the screen to the right height, set the cruise control, turn up the stereo, decide which of your 6 CDs in the auto changer to listen to, and you can still hear it at completely illegal speeds, and then relax for hours and hours. Okay, now I know there are some pretty compelling reasons against mega cruisers like this, but also I think there are some good reasons to seriously consider them. They've got more than enough bits and pieces to keep you comfortable and occupied on a long journey. There's plenty of space to store all your kit, and you can use it all year round. And yeah, I know it's massive, but because the panniers are built in, it's not actually that wide. And best of all, when you look in the actually rather effective mirrors and stare down the length of the bike at the pillion arrangement behind you, you can kid on you're a cross between Judge Dredd and Chips, which I like. There come a certain time of year when your mind turns to not just your usual Sunday morning romp around the country roads in the frost, but the big one, your summer break. It would be very nice if we could all go out and buy a BMW Tourer or a Honda Pan-European, but we can't. So you've either got to convert your sports bike or your old hack like mine into your summer Tourer, and that's what we're going to do. Your guide to turning your bike into a Tourer for the summer. My old bus here will be our guinea pig for this experiment, and our guide through it will be Ben. There's a lot we can do, isn't there, to turn our bike into a Tourer ready for summer?
Absolutely. There's a lot of luggage out there, and in the last few years it really has increased in technical ability and the types of materials that are available.
And the luggage is the big story, isn't it? Because that's basically what this is about. The simple fact is you can't set off for your summer break with a big rucksack on because it's uncomfortable and not particularly safe.
Exactly, and if you're really going for a good tour, you just cannot carry the amount of luggage that you need to. Not to mention, I'm not personally a great fan of wearing rucksacks on a bike, can be dangerous.
Now we're going to start with something little though. For all that we said about big amounts of luggage, we're going to work right up to the really big stuff. We're going to start with this little fella
this little Cambridge tail pack. It's only a little, so what I'd call an overnight bag. It straps under the seat with these Velcro straps which are adjustable. And the neat thing is once you've got them actually on the seat, you can just release them to take your bag away. So if you're just touring for the day, get somewhere for lunch, and you want to take the bag because it's got a few valuable goodies, you don't have to take the seat off, just unclip it.
So it's kind of socks shredded and a toothbrush, really.
Pretty much, wash bag and t-shirt. Got a little goodie pocket on the outside just to carry your
That's
wallet,
all right, that's a good start, not bad. How much is that?
That's £29.99.
29, nice and tough as well. Okay, 30 quid. Move on, next.
Next.
Right. This is sort of a bit...
It's a bigger tail
Is this the same
bag.
thing? Right,
It's the same
bigger
concept, sits behind the rider. It's got the same sort of thing, little wallet pocket out here, you can see.
And does this do the same sort of clip-on job?
Exactly, what it comes with, on each side, we've got...
Oh, bungee.
You can see that. But we've got two types of clip. One, we've got this clip goes onto here.
Yeah.
If I can get it on there. That goes under the seat, you pull it tight, you adjust it with the buckle, and that will stop it moving completely. And then the bungees, we've got the same thing on the other side, we just stretch it round, pulls it tight, nice and snug on the seat.
Then there's the tank bag to add to that. So you've got your tail pack, your panniers,
That's right.
your tank bag in front of you.
Yep, here we have a tank bag.
Right.
Now this is quite a neat one, it's got a little money pouch, it sits on the back so you keep change in there.
They've got a nice soft underneath,
nice
because
soft
I know
underneath.
if this is a magnetic one, if you get a bit of grit under there, it's, oh dear, ruined tank.
But it's a sort of material that, again, you can, it won't hold the grit. You can brush it off and then put it on your tank. It's a grip there with the magnets. It has, at the front, two sets of straps that come round, so this will clip round under your headstock. Whatever you don't put it round the actual top yoke. It's got to go round the headstock so it doesn't jam. And then we've got it underneath. You just hold that. We've got the main compartment there.
And does this expand as well?
It does indeed, yes.
Right.
We've got a removable tank pad back, so that actually allows you to take the top off.
Right.
Or if you're having it as one whole unit, you've also got an expander bag, which is there.
That?
That's £69.99 again.
Can I offer another tip here? Don't do what I did several years ago when setting off for the south of France on my GSXR. The only luggage I could put on it was one of these, but a very old-fashioned one, with incredibly strong magnets. And the first thing I put into it were all my cassettes and tapes, all of which were blanked and erased. Which was very annoying. I had to sing all holiday, which annoyed everybody else there. There's one final piece of soft luggage. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that.
That is a winner. I reckon you could almost get in there, Richard, actually. Use it as an overnight accommodation.
Yes, I could certainly. Yes.
Well, this basically sits astride the rear of your motorbike on the seat. It's got soft neoprene pads on either side, so it doesn't scratch paintwork. It's got lots and lots of straps which will fasten down. And I stress, with any of the soft luggage, there's no right way or wrong way to strap it down on any bike.
You've just
Each
got
bike is different. You've got to use your straps and use your common sense.
But hopefully they come with enough straps that you can work out.
Absolutely, a handful of straps.
Maybe a little test run is called for on a Sunday morning before you set off for the south of France. Expensive?
They are quite expensive, but you're getting a lot of luggage for your money. They're £199.99.
It's an amazing thing. I've never seen anything big. Important point as well. We've got. Just been chucked this Wonder Web. The idea is chuck that.
The idea is it protects your paintwork. I'll just open it up.
Because this is an important thing. If you've got
It
your
is, if you-
cherished sports bike, not an old bus like mine, and you want to look after it.
It's not so bad on your bike where you can see how sticky this stuff is, where you've got a seat because you're unlikely to scratch it. But on a sports bike with a single seat, so you're a single person touring, you don't want to scratch the paintwork. You cut this to size.
It's sort of sticky.
It's sticky, but it's not.
It'll
it's
stick
grippy.
on the bike and
you'd-
stop you scuffing it.
You lay it, for example, if you're putting that on the bike, you cut a section
To fit.
put it on the bike first, then drop the
Because
panniers over, and that will just stop it scuffing.
There would be tears at bedtime if you returned from your touring trip, removed your luggage and realised you'd scraped all the paint off your bike. Not nice.
Yep.
Okay, that's soft luggage. Now, I've decided that when I'm doing my little conversion here, I'm going to go for the big option. I'm going to go for hard luggage. And that's because it's not just for the tour. I use the old nail all year round, plying the motorways, and I could use the luggage space. It's going to be a heck of a lot more expensive and a lot more fiddly, and we'll find out how to fit it next. As we've got kind of a touring flavour to the programme this week, we thought we'd look at two long-distance scooters. They're big, they're very comfortable, and they can venture well beyond your daily commute. Probably the weirdest feeling about this is that because it's got power, I keep wanting to change gear, which would mean using the brake as a clutch, which would be bad, so I won't.
Now this scooter actually handles really well, and it's the most comfortable scooter I've ever been on. So I reckon you could do some serious miles on this.
Right then, whilst we in true tourer fashion go and enjoy the view and the cold, why don't you check out how many storage compartments there are on these things?
Hey Rich, I think a 1.5 down here.
Yeah, just bring the map, eh?
Come on Rich, you must have some idea.
I just don't know. You do it. Take the
I'll
thing
do it,
on.
yeah.
Now I've got a really clever gizmo here, but she's not going to wait. I do have to get this started, so I'll get my key and put it in there, and I push this button, and it'll let me put the key in the hole. And finally, we're in a position to start it. Welcome back to our guide to turning your bike into a tourer. Earlier on, Ben gave us a tour of all the soft luggage options, but I've decided to go for the hard stuff. I'm opting for this GV kit, but you can get it from Kappa and Oxford and all sorts. It is expensive, but for my use, it's great because all year round, I've got luggage available. And all we've got to do now is take all of this and fit it to this, which is going to be quite a job. Ben, you're going to talk us through this. We've got a big table full of gubbins. This is all the hidden stuff, is it?
It is indeed. What you actually got here is, this is a sort of generic item that will fit almost all the bikes. The stand you were just looking at is what actually the cases mount upon.
Right.
Unique to your bike is this kit.
The
here.
fitting kit.
That is-
Now, is this a job that you can do at home, or is this a job and get a dealer?
No, you can do it at home. It doesn't require any special tools. A few
Right.
Allen keys, normally a couple of spanners, 10mm, 13mm, nothing more than that.
You're not going to hurt my bike, are you? It's a trusty old steed. I need it.
No, it's going to love you
Right,
for this. It's
fair
going to be
enough.
like a new girl.
Well, I'm going to let you to get on with this. I feel the need for a cup of tea. Just going to do one thing for you there, put that the right way up, you can have a read of that, and I'll be in the kitchen.
Okay. We've taken the seat off and the rear rack to give access to the rear subframe on the bike. What you've got here is the main subframe coming along. We've also got the foot pegs, rear foot pegs, which the frame that's going to mount the rack is going to hang on. Part of the monorack system also comes with new indicators, so we're just taking the old indicators off. At this stage, just remove them but hang them loose so you don't lose which connections go onto which. Although they are colour coded, it just makes life easy when you come to connect it. Ah, this is the bit I like. Drilling holes in Richard's bike. To be honest, he was so late this morning that we decided we had to cut down on the weight on this thing so he wouldn't be late again. What we're actually doing here is just widening a couple of holes in the mud guard to fit the bracket on. It's all in the instructions, so don't worry. You're not doing anything that's untoward, but it just takes a little bit of time.